This is the full 30-minute interview with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and they're like best friends.
I've got to start with this. So he's working for free with Doge.
For free.
He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold. And you sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right.
That's right.
Look at Trump's face. He's like, what?
Long before he had it.
Yeah.
And
Bro,
they
the way he looks
really,
around.
Did a number on me, you know, and I sued, and they had to pay. They paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and you know the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right. It makes sense.
I think it's fun.
I think it's a very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount in the lawsuit.
He got a he got a big discount. I don't think he even knows about it.
These guys are
He's
best
become one of
friends.
if you read and believe the media, he's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president.
Did we just become best friends?
I don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
He loves him.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's
Bro,
you know,
they're tight.
That's the way he said
It's
that,
funny.
you know, something like
It's funny,
that.
but I love it too.
because
They're united, bro.
The president's been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous, and I've at this point spent a lot of time with President.
Yeah, bro, that's a good point. 10 million for Musk is like $10 for us.
And not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
You know, I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody
BFFs.
take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
You guys taking a lot of
We've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Worry about it? And, you know, and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which resulted in your endorsement.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was
it.
Precipitating event. Yeah.
That speeded it up a little bit.
Yeah.
The day of the
I
assassination.
didn't know that.
Yeah. It sped it up, but I was going to do it anyway.
Mr. President, with your
You
indulgence,
gave Trump 200 million? Hell yeah, dude.
I'm
You
convinced
should give me 200 million.
people only know a little bit about Elon. I don't think they know everything about Elon, because as I studied and prepared for this interview, I learned a lot about you that I didn't know. I think people will think about Tesla. Democrats are demonizing you and trying to make the country hate you. I just want people to understand you a little bit better, and the person that you've gotten to know and have now put a lot of trust in.
Yeah.
And, you know, just let's go over a little bit of your bio, starting with PayPal and how you became involved in Tesla and SpaceX.
I bet Hannity didn't know shit about Elon Musk before. Like, I know like all these companies Elon Musk has been building. I've been following it for years. I'm a big Elon Musk fan. I've been an Elon Musk fan ever since he started like his first successful rocket landing vertically. It blew my fucking mind. And I was like, dude, that's the future. That's crazy. This guy like figured it out, and it's smart. Of course, business is the one who's going to figure out how to optimize first, faster than fucking government budget.
And
blew my mind.
And all
Take
these.
a while. I mean, you know, I think the way you think of me is like I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make life better.
And he does.
Yeah, and that's why I like my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support.
Musky, yeah.
Now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing.
Can Elon Musk be my dad?
The president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible.
I think I'd rather he be my dad than Trump.
But then they don't get implemented, you know? So if you take, for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order. Hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals. And yet they were still doing that, even as late as last week. And so, you know, we went in there and we're like, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the Doge team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing, because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
Bro, Elon Musk is just on point, and I can't believe people are like fighting to keep it this way. We need to make it better, make the government smaller and have less bullshit slowing everything down. I'll tell you a story. When I was in the Marines, we had a budget to get a bunch of furniture for our shitty ass barracks that was falling apart. Right. And this furniture was for like the lounge areas. There's different like lounge areas on the different levels in our barracks. And so they got rid of all this shitty, disgusting old furniture and they bought all this new shit. And it was awesome. Right. But then something happened. We got the budget again. Right. And this is a real story. This is like what the exact thing that I think of every time the subject of optimizing the government comes up and people are arguing against it. They got the budget again. So instead, and if they don't spend it, they lose the money, but they have to spend it only on furniture for the barracks. So what they did is they threw away all the brand new furniture that the first budget gave them and then bought all the same fucking furniture and put it in the barracks. Because if you don't spend it, you lose it. And so their attitude is like, well, the money just came in from fucking magic money land budget, government budget. And if we don't spend it, we lose it. It'll go somewhere else. What's more optimized is for us not to do that and then say, oh, we already bought fucking furniture. Go give that to another unit or something. Okay. Like that's what I'm talking about. So I've seen that firsthand. That's my favorite story of explaining this. Cause like that literally happened. I have one of those pieces of furniture upstairs in my house right now. Yeah. That shit they were throwing away. I stole one of those motherfuckers. They were just going to throw it away. So I optimized. I'm basically Elon Musk of furniture. It's a one-seater couch. It's fucking comfy. I still have it. But seriously, and now think about it. That's just one like small little artillery battery in the Marines. Imagine the entire military, right? This is it wasn't like, shh, don't tell anybody. It's a big open secret. You can yell it. We're wasting military money. You could say that and no one gives a shit. It's like fucking Jurassic Park, right? So like it's a big open thing. It's like, yeah, well, if we don't spend it, we lose it. And everyone's just like dumb Marines. Okay. We're just like, whatever, it makes sense. But so it's not like anything even nefarious. It's just systemic, right? It's really bad spending. And it's not just in the military. That's just one little unit from fucking years ago. This has been happening forever. I bet the whole military is so inefficient and the budgets, if you don't spend it, you lose it. Mentality is everywhere. And it's not even in the military. It's the entire government. If you don't spend it, you lose it. With the budget's there, if we don't take it and give it to somewhere, we're going to lose it. That's the attitude. And this motherfucker, Elon Musk, is coming in and kicking ass and taking names. And anybody that's against that, it's absurd because this is real. This is real. Like they will spend all the fucking money. They will. If you don't stop them, they will keep doing it. You have to go in there and stop them from doing it. That's what he's doing. It's so obvious. There is very obvious government waste, like massive government waste, and there's people taking advantage of it. It's so fucking obvious, and everyone has always believed this, and only until now has anyone on the left started saying, "Nuh-uh," right? No, they've always agreed too. Like, what? That's crazy to me. It's only because it's their two arch enemies, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, that are going in and tightening up the government. That they're so deranged that they're against optimizing the government. It's so absurd. And this is something that many Democratic presidents have also done in the past. It's not just some righty thing. It's not. It's just being weaponized and people are being fucking psyoped to hate this guy. And it's hilarious. And I think that's one thing that's made Trump and Elon become best friends.
You're both aware, you have to be keenly aware that the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore. Because they threw everything they had at you, and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late-night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
I love it, President Elon Musk, but the rules are the rules.
Then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things.
Look at Trump's eyes, or Elon's eyes. Watch.
Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. They said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, it's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good
Musk
friends.
2028. He wasn't born here. It's the rules. We gotta stick to the rules.
You know what I have learned?
You can't run.
The people are smart. They get it.
He could do more not being president
They
anyways.
get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
And at the end of this interview,
Why is Trump orange? Because he
would
turns
like
himself
is-
orange, bro.
I want people
He just chose to do that shit. I don't know.
And know more about you. What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced, and nobody knew what the hell they were.
People do like
I
Vance.
can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden it was a river and vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no.
I was actually following this whole situation. There's a really good Twitter account from a guy named Sean Hendricks. He's actually the guy that got me into Beast Games and Brittany into Beast Games. I ended up not going. Brittany went and she was in there. But yeah, anyways, he used to work for Mr. Beast, and that's how I know him. And I was following him on Twitter, and then he's from North Carolina, and all this stuff happened. And he has been like on the ground, almost like as if this is his, like, I think he's a pretty religious guy. I'm not sure, but this was like his calling. And he came in and he was literally like a hero, an absolute hero in North Carolina, helping people that were having trouble from the floods and all the destruction that came through, and the lack of help from the government, and the absolute just fumbling from the North Carolina government. And Elon did come in and give them a bunch of fucking internet that helped them big time. And this guy, Sean Hendricks, I was watching him every day on Twitter. He was showing videos and stuff, and he's like, look at all these Starlinks we got. And he's like setting them up for people. And then he ended up showing people like tutorials, like, here's how you guys set them up. You have to do them this way. And just like, after he got them through to everyone, he like tech supported everybody to help get their internet set up so they can have communication, which is like life-saving, literally. So this is real ass shit. People don't want to admit it. They don't like when Elon Musk helps people and does good things, because then they can't complain about him. Because you can still complain about him. Complain about the things that you don't like, the real things. But if he does something like save fucking lives with giving people internet that are going to fucking die, right? Like, I think that's something that's okay to praise and be like, that's badass. And he did that shit. And he's been offering that in a lot of disaster zones. He's like, when something crazy happens, he's like, bro, I got you guys. I can give you fucking space internet. All right, that'll be super helpful during your disaster, right? And he just fucking gives them that shit. And to be fair, it is great marketing, because everyone's gonna talk about it. Now, like he literally is just continuing to build the space internet. Great marketing. He does benefit from it in the long run, but it doesn't matter. It's helping people.
No communication. They said, Elon Musk. They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah. He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communication system. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah. And he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. But he got it to him immediately, and I said, that's pretty amazing.
I'm live right now. What's
I
up?
didn't even know he had it. We watched the rocket ships, and we watch
Those are
Tesla.
sick.
I think,
Tesla's
something
sick.
that had an effect on me was
I want a
when I saw
Tesla.
the
I don't have
rocket
one.
ship come back and get grabbed like you grab a beautiful little baby. You grab your baby. It just,
Hug the rocket.
Baby.
Everybody-
I love
everyone-
it. I love the way Trump says that. It's like grabbing a baby. I love the way he says baby. It's so funny.
Everyone needs to hug and clean rockets.
And he said, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it.
Right.
And he saved it. First time that I've
Never been
ever
done.
seen that done. Now, nobody else can do it. If you look at the U.S.,
Nobody can.
Russia, or China, they can't do it.
Nope.
And they won't be able to do it for a long time.
Yeah.
He has the technology. So you learn, I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect. Because, he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, You write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But as soon as he said that, I said, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive and you sign it and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people.
This is really interesting part. Listen up.
Much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
Check this out.
No, he is.
I actually
but
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more
support.
than that.
I literally am tech support, though. But
He gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering. It would be great, and you say, great, when are you starting? But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. They could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done. So when he said that, he said, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done. Get it done. And some guy that
when are you doing it? I love this.
All of a sudden, he's signing. He just doesn't want to be.
Okay, so what he's saying, and this is really important, right? So, who says this? What is he lying about now? Right? He's not lying about anything. He's actually just saying that what Elon is helping him with. So he's saying when he signs an executive order, Elon Musk has his 100 Doge guys track down all the agencies or whatever government people that need to be contacted in order to make it happen. And what they're doing is they're just hurrying it along. Because the way things work in government is something gets passed down to somebody for them to do, and then it takes forever to get past the next guy. This is how nothing gets done. So what Elon is doing is seeing, this is why it's slow, because they're just not moving the paperwork. Okay, let's have our people just force them to continue to move the paperwork and stop making it sit somewhere so it gets done. That's it. That's not a lie. That's them talking about their method of making sure things get done. And it's very simple too. And it's real. That actually happens. And you just have to call them and see when are you doing this? Or show the fuck up and be like, this right here needs to get done now and not later, not tomorrow, not in 5 minutes, fucking now. And when you do that to people, and if you don't do it now, then you're fired, right? So do it now. Do your fucking job now, not later. The request, since you work here, is to do it now. That's what they're asking for. And when they do that and you track down the pathway that the orders are going in order for them to happen, and you have people constantly pursuing, making sure that it's progressing along, it actually happens. And believe it or not, they did not have that before. So simple. Elon Musk is very simply doing that with his team, and it's just making the executive orders happen faster. But here's the thing that's really interesting to me, right? It's so funny that Elon's doing it. What? I think that's so funny to me. Elon's doing it, man. I thought maybe Trump would have some other hard charger, military dude or something, going in and make sure everything's happening. Go, make it happen. But no, he has Trump going in, or he has Elon going in with his team. Doge is doing it. Doge isn't just auditing the government, but they're making sure, and I guess it's the Department of Government Efficiency. So they're making sure that the executive orders are efficiently being acted out. And I wasn't thinking about that, but that's the way it needs to be done. Fucking get it done. You make calls and you make sure people are moving. Move. Get this shit done now, not tomorrow. Go. This needs to be done now. Do not let people put things off when they're working for you, and especially when there's an urgency. If there's everyone that works for you, if you start a business, make everyone have a sense of urgency with the things they're doing so they can get them done quicker. We need to move. There may be certain tasks where we need to slow down and be careful. If it's a task that requires that because some sensitive reason, then yes, I'll back the fuck off. Don't pressure them, But for most tasks, they could just get done faster. And that's what Doge is doing. And it's so funny. We have 420 viewers, by the way. Doge 420, let's go.
Do a lot of those executive orders have to be codified into law? You need the Republican Congress to follow up?
A lot of them will be, yeah.
They will.
But look, in the meantime, we have 4 years. The beauty is we have 4 years. That's why I like doing it right at the beginning. Because an executive order is great. I mean, the one problem, it's both good and bad. Because when they did all these executive orders, I've canceled.
Thank you for the
most of them.
$5 super chat,
Terrible.
James.
I mean, we're going to go radical left communist. Okay, it was crazy. Their
Really crazy.
executive orders were so bad. If they ever got them codified, you'd never be able to break them. So the damage that Biden has done to this country, and it's not even Biden, it's the people that circled him in the Oval Office, okay? But the damage they did to this country, in terms of, let's say, open borders, you know, there's so many things, but open borders, where millions of people poured into our country, and hundreds of thousands of those people are criminals. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're gang members, they're people from prisons from all over the world. And we have a great guy, Tom Homan, and he is doing so incredibly. You saw the numbers, they're now like 96%.
95%.
He is a phenomenal guy.
I've heard so many
And
different
Kristi Noem
percentages.
is doing an unbelievable job. And he wanted her. He said, she's so tough. And I said, I don't think of her as that way. You know, she's very nice. He said, no.
I've heard like so now I'm hearing 96%. Then Hannity corrects him 95%. And I have a like super lefty employee that works for me full time. And I have a lot of conversations with him about this stuff just to kind of get a vibe check and you know, see if I can self check a little bit too. Just you know, I don't know, being diligent, right? So I have a super lefty guy that works for me and we talk politics like all the time. And he was looking up and he was saying it was like 65%. Still impressive, but so I'm like, where are you looking that up? So everyone is like getting different fucking numbers on what it actually is. But at the end of the day, I think that the percentage, whatever it is way less fucking people flooding into the country illegally. So either way, it's good. I don't know what the real number is though. Everyone's saying something different.
She's so tough. And she is. I see with the horses, she's riding the horse. Let's go. She's great. But the team we have is really unbelievable. But those executive orders, I sign them, and now they get passed on to him and his group and other people, and they're all getting done. We're getting them done.
Let me go back a little bit to your background, because
Sure.
it's beyond impressive. You were the chief engineer, for example. You were an early believer in Tesla. You became the CEO, and then the chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing, which is unbelievable. I mean, you were the first private company to send astronauts successfully into space.
That's crazy shit.
First private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's going to fly on his...
At some point. Yeah.
Is it
I mean, they always ask me, like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries. This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
They're best friends,
Star
and they're going to do
Shield is gonna
karate
be
in the
used
garage.
National defense.
Yeah, it is already being used.
What the fuck is Star
Then
Shield?
you have what is it called? Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
A robotic arm. Then you have an AI arm. And then you have something that really fascinated me, and it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see,
Yes.
and people with spinal cord injuries, that they can recover, where in the past, how close is that
Yeah.
to becoming a success?
I would love to see the blind be able to like see again, that have complete, like I have my staff sergeant from the Marines. He, like, when we were in Iraq, he got fucking blown up and completely blinded. It's a big fucked up story. Not gonna get into whatever. And he was a sergeant at the time, and he was the first fully blind Marine in the Marine Corps to get promoted to staff sergeant, because he was so good at artillery. He was able to teach it blind at the artillery school. And he was not just teaching regular artillery, he was teaching chief school, so where you become an artillery chief. And he's fully blind. And he, like, I was talking to him not too long ago, and he says, the thing that I miss the most is video games and porn, because he can't see him. He's completely blind. His eyeballs are completely detached from his brain. So how would we get him to see again? Probably cybernetic eyes that are connected to the chip that's in the brain. And he's been following this stuff. And all of us, you know, that were under him or just like around him in the Marines and stuff, we keep up with them. And whenever we find stuff like this, we send it to him. He's heard about all of it. But I would love for this to happen so he could fucking see again. And all he does is he listens to music, podcasts, and he does jujitsu all day. He's fucking awesome. He's a badass. And it's really crazy, because I remember he was such a badass motherfucker. He'd been to Iraq like fucking 5 times or something like that already by the time I went to Iraq with him. So he already knows everything, and he personally picked me to be on his gun. Because we're artillery, we just call it a gun. I was on his gun, and he just showed me the way, bro. He brought me to Iraq and fucking showed me how things are done over there. Like there was all my training and shit, and then I learned a lot from Silva. I think my dog just took a shit. Shit, bro, are you farting? I think he's farting. Anyways, I would love for him to be able to have this technology so Eddie could see again.
Neuralink, we've implanted Neuralink in 3
Get the guys some eyes and point immediately. I know.
Paraplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like, so we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons damaged, so that somebody can walk again. And
interesting.
So they can have full body functionality restored. And
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually, yeah. I think I supported Bobby Kennedy. I think he's unfairly maligned as
Thank you for the 5, Alan.
Anti-science. But I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is the essence of the science.
That's okay to do.
The scientific method fundamentally is about always questioning the science.
Well, they didn't tell us the truth about COVID.
Teach you that in like 3rd grade, bro.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files. And that just then raises a question.
Sean Hannity is aging.
You may not like that part. Yeah. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time. But
that's why.
But he's on your team. Well, that's true. He can't top that.
He's good. I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
You really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So
thanks for the $2 super chat, James.
For the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this.
Well, thanks for having me.
So
I'm just trying to be useful.
This is the interesting. This is where we are as a society, and I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway.
What are you doing?
You're doing all of these things. Nobody at Doge gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some
right. Okay.
They're helping.
But that's paid like nothing.
Say that the software engineers at Doge could be earning millions of dollars a year instead of earning a small fraction of that as federal employees.
Okay, so
and they're very committed people.
So
yes.
You're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that.
Yeah, let's get those guys back.
At the president's request or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
Isn't that crazy? Those motherfuckers got left in space, and like they could have asked Elon to help them at any time, and he would have gladly done it because it would be a huge W for his company. It's like, but they don't want to give him a win. They'd rather leave those fuckers up in space. Isn't that bullshit?
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
That's crazy. It's almost a whole year.
Reasons, which is not
what?
Good.
Okay, it's not good. Now, if I had the weight of the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, But when we spoke before we did this interview, you are very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success. Mm-hmm. So, as long as we're not complacent.
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks.
Interesting.
About 4 weeks?
Yeah.
I hope everything goes okay.
We're being extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks.
The pressure, bro. Imagine the pressure.
He was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
Just imagine the amount of pressure that both of these guys have gone through, right? So Trump has gone through so much stuff. All right, whether you think that he's like the worst in the world or you think he's fucking God, everyone can agree that Trump has gone through the legal ringer. That's for sure, for years. Okay, he has. Like, has he not? And imagine how much pressure that is. That's insane. And then same for Elon. He's has so much like he's writing on everything for Trump to win for this election. And he went super hardcore righty on Twitter. Okay, we all know it, and I don't have a problem with it. I don't give a shit. I just it was crazy to see. That's all. Now imagine all of this. He has all this pressure from like Doge and everything he's doing, and there's all of his companies, and he's trying to make sure they're all successful and stuff. And now he has the like, if he fucks this recovery mission up, that's going to be a big fucking this is risky. That's risky, and he's going to have it ready in 30 days. What? That's crazy. Thanks for the $5 super chat, James. He says, I support them, but understand they are master influencers. They are. Yep. I'm on the same page. It's okay to support them and understand that these guys are fucking people who rise to the fucking top by saying whatever they need to say to get there.
Well, it's like
He
we
considered
were
it
growing
like-
up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity.
Romance
Can you
over if
believe
it
that?
fails.
Unbelievable.
Maybe.
And so
Yeah.
I want to echo something that the president said and then ask an overarching question. So people get hit with Hurricane Helene.
What's up,
They
Bresky?
have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue. You donated that, I
Yes,
believe?
yes.
Okay. You donated to the people
He saved a lot of lives
in
in North Carolina. He saved a lot of lives.
and California after the wildfires?
California, but I mean, in North Carolina, where they were really in trouble, they had no communication. People were
Nothing.
dying. They were dying of starvation. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Now
big
you're gonna
help. Big
rescue
help, dude.
astronauts. And now, and again, you do all of this. I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be adored by the left, you know.
Not anymore.
Yeah, he was.
So these
He
days.
killed that, huh?
I mean,
I really didn't know.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, you know, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome, and I don't, you know, you don't realize how real this is until like
It's real,
you
dude.
can't reason with people.
You can see it in the
I was
chat.
at a friend's
It's real.
birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And then I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular.
Yeah, it's
containing,
crazy.
Like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay.
I know people exactly like what
And
he's
I'm like,
describing.
What is wrong, like, guys? Like, you can't have like a normal conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like they become completely irrational.
He has no idea, but if you're friends with him,
Yeah.
you pay a price. You know, it's like
Thanks for the $2 super chat, James. Thanks for the $4 super chat. Hello.
Daggers, and they want to.
No, the eye daggers level is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like I had like some invitation because so I got invited to like basically a big sort of damn event like that was, but it received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and I still attended even after I'd endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect how I was received. I mean, I walk into the room and I'm getting just
Look at them.
looks from
Look at they're
everyone.
glowing.
Like if,
They're both
if looks could
glowing.
kill, I would
They're
have been
best
dead
friends,
several
bro.
times over.
But that was not.
Dude, I'm telling you.
See,
They just became best friends.
Before Trump, that never happened, right?
YouTube chat is a war zone. It is. It's 100% a war zone. Okay. There's a little break here.
Take a look.
We will go forward. Okay. Let's hear what Mr. Hannity has to say. I'll read a couple things in chat real quick. Let's see. Rabies and meth is pretty bad mix. Oh my God. But Russia. Cost of living went up because corporations bought all the houses and grocery stores and are price gouging customers. There is no free market anymore. You know, there's a lot of big companies that try and stifle anyone small to come in and get a piece. That is true. I see it happen all the time.
This is the $1 million or $1 billion, I'm among billionaires, question. So you have all of this going on, and you stop, in a way. You're still doing it, and you partner with him. And
Best
this is
team
what
up
you get
ever.
for it from the Democrats. You get
Best team up.
Nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet nominees.
I know,
okay?
easy
People
to
are
defeat
dying
argument.
because of Doge cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What
Yeah.
Doge is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. It's a constitutional crisis.
But why are they reacting like this?
Well, first of all, do you give it flying rip?
I think I know why. They're
I
desperate.
guess we must be over the target or doing something right. You
I think they're desperate. That's why they're doing
wouldn't be
that.
complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful, I think.
Facts.
But what all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people
True.
through the president.
What we want.
And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, DC voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're 92% common law. That's a lot.
They don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. And like 92%, that's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so, but how can you, if the will of the president
Spit
is
it
not
out, Elon.
implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented. And that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what we're seeing here is the sort of the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people. Is this making sense? I mean,
Yeah. It's making perfect
Of
sense.
course it does. I mean, to me, if you look at our framers and our founders, and you really become a student of history, Mr. President, and we've had conversations both on air and off air. And if we talk about constitutional order or transformational change, nobody can argue that what's happening here is it's going at the speed of light. But however, what were the principles of our framers and our founders? They wanted limited government, greater freedom for the people. And we'll get to the specific cutting of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is your goal, is it not?
Yeah, and my goal was to get great people. And when you look at what this man has done, I mean, it was something. I knew him a little bit through the White House. Originally, I'd see him around a little bit. I didn't know him before that. And I respected what he did. And he fought hard. You know, he was maybe questioned for a while. He was having some difficulties. It was not easy doing what he did. I mean, how many people have started a car company and made it really successful?
Not very many.
A better car where it's, you know, beating these big companies that's all they do is cars.
All these lefties, it's so funny how many people think that Elon Musk is stupid and that they are like way smarter than him, and they have like terrible lives. You know, like they've made like horrible decisions for themselves and they're not in a good place, but they sit there and can type away on their phone or the computer and they think they're smarter than Elon Musk, and it's so fucking funny. It's like, bro, you are like in such a horrible position and you think you're smarter than this guy? You know, like Trump is right. How do you start a car company and succeed in that environment? Speaking of the big companies that won't let other companies come in and exist, right? Like they try and make it hard for anyone else to come in and get a piece, but he did it. And many other things too.
I mean, it's really amazing the things he's done, but I didn't know it as much then.
Thank you for the
as
5, James.
now. I mean, the fruits have sort of taken hold. But I wanted great people, and he's a great person. He's an amazing person. He's also a caring person. You know, he uses the word care. So they sign a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the guy is getting checks for years and years and years, and he's telling his family, obviously, maybe it was crooked, maybe he paid to get the contract, or maybe he paid that they didn't terminate it. But, you know, we have contracts that go forever, and they've been going for years. And they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something, and they go forever. So the guy is either crooked, you know, where he knew this was going to happen, or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he
Market
knows
is
he shouldn't be
savage.
getting. But
Thanks
they're
for the $2,
finding things
man.
like that. They're finding things far worse than that. And they're finding billions, and it will be hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud. I say,
All right, yeah. So do I glaze Elon? Yes, but also Blue makes a really good point because I'm always gonna shit on Elon for this one. He says he played 1,500 hours of Path of Exile 2 since year. Bro, that motherfucker is not playing Path of Exile. He is really good at hiring people to do things for him, including play his video games. He totally lied about playing fucking video games, and that's cringe as fuck. All right, it doesn't mean that I hate Elon Musk though, but that is cringe as fuck. All right, I'm really good at looking at people and saying, I like this, but I don't like that, instead of being like, I don't like this one thing, so fuck that guy entirely. I don't look at the world that way, and people that do look at the world that way are cringe and fucking losers.
waste and abuse, but fraud, waste, and abuse. And he's doing an amazing job. And he attracts a young, very smart type of person.
Take the good with the bad. Said it
I
way
call
better
them
than I did, Ryan.
high IQ individuals, and they are. They're very high IQ. And when they go in to see the people and talk to these people, you know, the people think they're going to pull it over. They don't. These guys are smart, and they love the country. You know, there's a certain something. But he uses the word care. So people have to care.
This is some basic
Like-
leadership shit.
When I
Simple.
bought Air Force One, I negotiated the price. It was 5.7 billion, and I got them down to 1.7 billion. Now they're not building the plane fast enough. I mean, they're actually in default. Boeing, they're supposed to have been building this thing forever. I don't know what's going on.
But
We
Boeing
don't
stock
build the way
going
we used to
down, bro.
build.
Oh
You
my
know,
god.
We used to build like a ship a day, and now to build a ship is like a big deal. And we're going to get this country back on track.
Yeah,
we
let's
can
do
it. But
I think we can too.
so many things. It takes so long to get things built and get things done.
Not with
and
Elon.
A lot of it could be something we've been discussing. The regulators go in and they make it impossible to build. They make it very difficult to build anything, whether it's a ship, a plane, or a building, or anything.
Get them out of the way.
And some of them do it because they want to show how important they are. Some of them do it maybe because they think they're right. They use the environment to stop progress and to stop things. It's always the environment. It's an environmental problem. It's not.
So he's a liar, but you think he's still trustworthy? I can trust certain things and not trust other things, right? So if you just think that way, then you'll always end up being wrong twice a day, right? You know, they say there's a clock is right twice a day. Well, if you only think that way, you'll always be wrong twice a day, right? So there's certain things that you don't have to trust that Trump is saying, and there's other things that you can trust that he's saying. Like when he's saying, like, Elon Musk, when I put out an executive order, him and his fucking Doge guys follow the executive orders and push the orders down the path of desks that they need to go in to make the things happen. Instead of just waiting for it to happen, they're pursuing it. When he said that that's what they're doing, I believed that to be true. Don't you? Don't you think that's true? Like, that's what Elon is doing because they have an agenda and they're aggressively trying to get the executive orders to happen. Like, they do want their executive orders to happen. So they are going to try and make them happen. And it only makes sense that Elon, would have his guys go and push the things to happen sooner. I believe Trump when he says that because I think that that's true. If Trump says something else that's not true, and I'll be like, I don't fucking know about that. Okay, I don't believe everything Trump says. He's not like a 100% honest person. And just because someone's not a 100% honest person doesn't mean I could still I should just block out everything they say. That's not how the world works. And if you do that, then you're that wrong clock twice a day, right? Don't do that. So there's truths and lies. What's intelligent is to try and figure out what is true and what is bullshit. That's what all normal people are trying to do. And that's what this stream is about. That's what we do here. I don't fucking just glaze everything Trump does. There's been plenty of times I've been live, plenty of times now. We've had millions of views on these streams. Everyone has seen it. If Trump does something I don't think is true, or something I disagree with, when he was talking about Gaza and moving everyone, I'm like, what does that mean? Are we putting boots on the ground? Because I would not support that. I will, in real time, I'm not just going to sit there and be like, yeah, Trump, whatever he says, bro. Like, I'm not like that. I do like Trump, and I'm glad that he's in charge and not fucking Kamala. She wouldn't have gotten anything done. Okay? So you take the good with the bad. This guy is a fucking New York real estate dude. Okay? This guy fucking will use leverage and put you out of business so he can win. This is the type of person he is. And I accept that. That's okay to me. I don't mind. Yeah, we all lie. Everybody lies. And if you want to be in a position of power, you gotta bullshit to get there. They all do it. Like, show me the fucking most honest person that can become president. It's not gonna happen. Honest Abe, maybe that's the only time.
Not an environmental problem at all.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of things. And by the way, speaking of that, Lee Zeldin is going to be fantastic in the position. It's so important. He could take 10 years to approve or disapprove something, or he could do it in a month. Just as good.
Sure.
And I think you're going to see a fantastic job done by him. He's a tremendous guy.
Newt, you echoed something when I just met you, and it was very similar to what Newt has been saying, that he brought this country to the dance. This is the opportunity to be transformational and to have, I would argue, the most consequential presidency if we really dig down and do something that had never been done before. And that is get rid of this bureaucracy. And I'm going to get to the specifics. You say the same thing. It's not done yet. And what do you mean by that?
I mean, winning the election is really the opportunity to fix the system. It is not fixing the system itself. So it's an opportunity to fix the system and to restore the power of democracy. And people it's funny how often when these attacks occur, the thing that they're accusing the administration of is what they are guilty of.
Always.
They're saying that things are being
So common.
unconstitutional, but what they are doing is unconstitutional. They are guilty of the crime of which they accuse us.
That's always the first thing they do.
Yeah, it's so common.
Of the Constitution. They don't even know what they're talking. Well,
It's
they
absurd.
know. It's just a con job. It's a big con job, and they're so bad for the country, so dangerous and so bad, and the media is so bad. When I watch MSNBC, which I don't.
That's a really good example, Carlos. Thank you. Trump said that Ukraine started the war. I disagree with that. Russia invaded Ukraine. I disagree. I don't think that that's true. Thank you, Carlos, for bringing that up, because there's one that I disagree with. I disagree with that. I don't believe that. I believe that Russia started it. So is there some sort of argument that can be made that Ukraine was blah, blah? I don't fucking know. No, Russia wants that territory because they want to have that mountain range that's right up on NATO, so they don't have a big gap of fucking land and resources and stuff separating them from the front lines of NATO. If they hold Ukraine, that'd be really good positioning for Russia for literally forever, because they'll hold that territory forever. That's what they want. It's just, they're just playing fucking, what's that game called with all the troops in the world map? Risk. Bro, they're just playing fucking Risk. They want that spot because it's useful to them. That's what they want. They want it. Then they invaded because they wanted to take it. Trump's not saying the truth there. Okay? He didn't say the truth. I still like Trump.
I don't watch much, but you have to watch the enemy on occasion. The level of arrogance and cheating, and they're just horrible people. These are
lie.
horrible people.
They tell
They're
conspiracy
liars,
theories.
and they start up with the Constitution. They
Thanks for the
couldn't
$2
care
super
less
chat,
about
James.
The Constitution. CNN, likewise. I mean, I watch them asking questions with, the hatred with them. I said, "Why are you asking the question with such anger? You're asking me a normal question, but you see the bias. The bias is so incredible."
It's biased on both sides, but it's really bad on the left right now.
PBS is bad. AP is bad. CBS is terrible. I mean, CBS now, they changed an answer in Kamala. They asked her some questions. She answered them like, a low IQ person, the opposite of him, the absolute opposite. But she gave a horrible answer. They took the entire answer out, and they put another answer that she gave 20 minutes later into as the
Part of her
answer.
word
I've
salad.
never even heard of that. I thought I heard of it all.
I'm going to, just for the sake of saving time, because I could spend, and I've done this on radio and TV, I can spend an hour finding the outrageous amounts of money being spent abroad, like USAID, and I just want to mention a couple, but I'm going to scroll it.
Well, I guess at a high level, I think it's what the president mentioned earlier, which is that in order to save taxpayer money, it comes down to two things: competence and caring.
Getting things done efficiently.
When the president
That's
was
what that
shown the
achieves.
outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher.
Does anyone watch anything other than Fox News? I watch all the news networks if there's anything interesting. This is exclusive on Fox. It literally says Hannity exclusive at the bottom right here. Like, see that? It says Hannity exclusive. I wanted to hear this. It was exclusive.
Literally 50% higher. The president cared, the president was competent, the price was not 50% higher as a result. And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for the American people.
But we were talking about this yesterday. I could give me thousands of bills. I could pick any one of them.
Exactly.
But I could take all 1,000. And let's say it's a bill for $5,000, just $5,000, and it's done by some bureaucrat. And if he would say, "I'll give you 3, I don't want to pay you 5, it's too high, I'll give you 3. But they don't do that. If a guy sends in a bill for $5,000, they pay $5,000. They expect to be cut. Everybody expects to be cut. When you send in a bill, you expect to be cut. They send in the bill higher for the most part. This is true with lawyers, legal fees. When they send in legal fees, I can cut. I wish I had the time. I would save so, but
Thanks,
I could
Pablo.
cut these
Appreciate that,
bills
man. It
in
means a lot
half,
to me, to
much
be
better
real.
than half. But you offer people a much lower number because they actually put fat. I'm not even saying it's like a way of business. They put more on because they expect to be negotiated. When you send in a bill to the government, there's nobody to negotiate.
Yes.
You send in a bill for $10,000 and they send you a check back for $10,000.
Yeah.
If you would call them and said, we'll give you 5. No, I need
This
more
is
than
basic
5.
stuff, dude.
We'll give you 5. I'm not getting paid any more than 5. Make it 6. No, I'm not going to make it 6. And you'll settle for $5,500. You've just cut the bill almost in half, and it took like 2 minutes. But none of that's
Someone
done.
call that the art of the
But
deal?
that's caring. No, it's not even the art of the deal. It's caring.
It's
He
a-
uses
it's
the word
true.
caring.
It's such a good
caring.
way of putting
It's
it.
a certain competence, but I think it's more caring
I
than
know,
competence.
if you add either ingredient, either competence or caring, you'll get a better outcome. But it stands to reason that if you don't have competence, you don't have caring, you're going to get a terrible deal. And the problem is that the American taxpayers have been getting a terrible deal because look at the last administration. Can any reasonable person say that the last administration was either competent or caring?
But they lied to us and said that Joe didn't have a cognitive decline.
They fully lied.
They said
They
the
lied
borders were
about that,
closed.
yeah.
They said that the borders were secure. They said that,
Right.
they said Obamacare would save.
They flat out lied.
They flat
It was
out lied.
insane.
Yeah. And what's really funny is they're simply talking about how to get a better deal, and you just follow through and have caring. And there's people on the left that will still argue against it no matter what. Like, and this is just like basic shit that applies to everything, right? Like, follow through with things. And if someone is offering a price, don't just take it. You can try and get them you could try and get a better price. There's nothing wrong with that. And they're simply saying, as the government, we should ask for a better price for things. Right. And there's people that are going to argue against that and say, they're just telling lies. It's like, bro, they're just talking about basic, like, dude, it's not lies. It's not Nazi shit or anything to say, hey, when we like ask for something for a private company to do something for the government, we shouldn't just pay whatever they ask. We should say, nah, we don't want to pay that. We want to pay this. If you want the job, meet our pay. If they don't think that that's worth it, then they won't take it. And that's just the way it works with everybody, with everything. Like, we've all dealt with that. And that's all they're suggesting. Literally, watch it. That's what they're talking about. And they're saying, let's apply that to the government. It makes too much sense, dude. And it's what's really funny is the more the left tries to argue against this, like, they're just bleeding support. I say this every stream. They're bleeding support. And it's a damn shame because I would like the left to be more competitive. All they have to do is just make more fucking sense. Right. And it doesn't make sense to be against these basic checks and balances. And so what the left is doing is they're just trying to psy up everyone and say they're trying to steal all your info and Elon's going to steal all the government money and all this weird shit they're saying. It's ridiculous. But hey, they keep doing that, then they just hurt their own side and it strengthens the right. And as somebody who cares about them and I want them to do better, I would love them to see that. But as somebody that also likes winning, from a competitive standpoint, keep doing that. Lefties, keep doing that. Keep being against these things that make sense. Stop picking the 20% on every 80-20 issue. Be more competitive. Make more sense to your people, dude. You'll have more support, and you'll be a bigger thorn in our side. It just make more sense. Like, people want the government to stop being inefficient. Everyone agrees that the government wastes money. Being against, like, checking into that is a big L, and they're playing you guys. They straight up are.